Humanity's awakening is divinely willed and intended, therefore it most certainly will be achieved. June 3, 2017. Within the illusion the only constant is change. You all know this, but you do need to remind yourselves that change is part of the illusion, an aspect of time which is the linear coefficient of the illusory concept that you chose to construct and maintain. Now that the foundations or underpinnings are collapsing, changes are occurring ever more rapidly. And these changes are especially noticeable in relationships, from personal or family ones to intergovernmental ones. Change is an aspect of evolution and you are all evolving, and your evolution is basically along a spiritual path, even though vast numbers of you appear to have no spiritual interest or awareness, apart perhaps from believing that anything spiritual is unreal, the result of unbalanced emotional needs being pandered to due to a sense of loneliness, unacceptability, and the fear that that engenders. Those needs are indeed very prevalent among those who are consciously attempting to follow a spiritual path, and may well indicate the initial signs of a growing awareness that there should be, and indeed is, far more to life than the generally accepted three-dimensional materialist egoic drive for more of anything and everything that brings pleasure to your human form. And, deeply asleep and dreaming, as most humans are, that makes perfect sense. Anything that appears to provide safety, security, and pleasure to the individual is obviously something that is well worth working for. Over the last few decades, more and more of those who live in the apparent safety and comfort of the materialistically successful parts of the world are becoming increasingly aware of the vast contrast between their way of life and that of the billions who live without basic needs, clean water for drinking and cooking, food, shelter, clothing, and essential sanitary facilities. They are truly concerned with that vast gulf between the relatively well-off and the impoverished. The gulf between the inordinately wealthy and the rest is an altogether different matter because those extremely wealthy and deeply asleep ones consider themselves entitled to their seemingly privileged lives in their egoic unawareness of the fact that they are even more dependent on others than are other people. They too will awaken. This awareness has led to a powerful desire and intent to balance the playing field, so that everyone on earth is treated with the honor and respect to which every created being is entitled precisely because they are the beloved children of God. That growing awareness is an aspect of the awakening process in which every single human being has a part to play, a task to complete. It is also very clear that a vast number have absolutely no memory of their pre-incarnational and individual commitment to assist in humanity's awakening process. It was clearly understood in the spiritual realms that many, after arriving on earth as humans, would indeed have forgotten their pre-birth promises. And that is why there are so many incarnate on earth at this moment. Because the numbers of you presently incarnate are so enormous, there is absolutely no possibility of the awakening process failing to unfold as divinely planned and ordained. You could, in your amusing human terminology, say that the divine plan for your awakening has an overkill provision. That is, because of the enormous numbers of you involved, there is absolutely no way that it can be unsuccessful because enough of you will remember your preordained tasks and will deliver as promised. As we in the spiritual realms keep telling you directly, and through the numerous channels we most graciously honor and respect, humanity's awakening is divinely willed and intended, therefore it most certainly will be achieved. It already has been achieved, but because of your myopic view of life, focused, as it mostly is, on the illusion and the games you are continuing to play there, you are not seeing the big picture, the divine picture, in which all live in joy, peace, and harmony, at one with each other and with God. That is the state in which you were all created, and that state has never changed, and you have never left it. What is occurring all over the world is the rapidly growing realization that there truly is no such thing as separation. Yes, you are individuals in form, individuals in very definitely separate bodies, but large numbers of you are now becoming aware of the fact that everything is intimately connected and inseparable. Therefore everything you think, say, or do, affects everyone else, even if you, as humans, cannot actually see this occurring. God is infinitely wise, compassionate, loving. He is all-knowing because He is. And He created you like Himself. Therefore, when you designed and constructed the illusion in which you now find yourselves living as small and basically insignificant individuals, you had all His skills and competences, you just chose to use them in an extremely different and unloving way. You chose separation as a lifestyle, as a way to prove that you were independent of, and had no need of your source. But, because there is only the one, that was something that could only be disproved, as indeed it has been. Consequently, to attempt to live as separate and disconnected beings is not only impractical, it is impossible and extremely painful, as you are now becoming intensely aware. Life is truly a most joyful experience unless you choose that it be otherwise. This is not to blame those of you who are not fully joy-filled, the vast majority of humanity. It is just to remind you that you have free will because love, God, does not impose, direct, or control. Therefore your choices, even if you seem unaware or in denial of the possibility that you could have made choices that would cause you so much pain and suffering, are never overruled. To awaken is to realize that you are free and that life, existence, your conscious awareness, is yours to use in any manner that you choose. The truth of this appears to make no sense at all when you find yourselves in situations or relationships that are extremely painful and from which there is no obvious point of exit. But the point of exit is the moment at which you choose to engage fully with love. When you do this, fear, and all that arises through it, loses its power over you, power it never really had. You just chose to be powerless, that is fear-filled. The whole concept of divine intervention in your lives, a God judging and punishing you for your misdemeanors, is a purely human invention. You were created perfect and that is unchanging. But as humans in the illusion, playing games of separation, inadequacy, and worthlessness, you needed a judge to make those calls. You were emotionally and psychologically unable to accept your own negative self-judgments about your choice to separate from source and the intense and ongoing pain that choice provides, and so you invented a system of rewards and punishments. Following on from that, you built a societal power structure or pecking order into which each was fitted according to his popularity or craftiness, with the possibility of rising up through that system available, but only for a few, while the rest had to accept their subordinate placement and behave as ordered by the authority figures that the system recognized and supported. The idea was to destroy all sense of personal autonomy, and it has worked extremely well. Even those at the highest levels of the system live in fear of relegation or even total banishment. You see this happening all over the world as people who are in positions of power are criminalized for corrupt activities that are generally no different from the activities of those who judge and condemn them. This is obviously an insane way to live, and now, finally, after eons of pain and suffering, people are allowing themselves to become aware of this. It is your awakening process. Initially there is a strong urge to have those seen as responsible stand trial and be punished, which is what has been going on for eons. What is happening now is the growing awareness that these old ideas just do not work, plus the awareness that all are responsible for this ongoing insanity. Therefore, to move forward, instead of judging and punishing, open, honest, and clear communication is required, leading first to understanding the whys of this insanity, then to reconciliation, and finally to forgiveness. In the illusion all have sinned, all are sinners, and when that is accepted by all, healing can take place. For there is no sin and there are no sinners, that is all part of the nightmare you have been dreaming. Love always and only loves and cherishes, that is reality. Basically you, the human collective, has made the choice and set the intent to cease playing the games with which the illusion presents you, games that demand deceit and violent competitiveness which always lead to further pain and suffering, and return to operating from your true nature, love. Within the illusion, of course, that takes time. Fear is endemic and has to be acknowledged and released. Choosing to engage with love makes that possible. It is only the collective choice not to be loving that has held you seemingly locked into the nightmare. Yes, as humans you all want to be loved, but, because of your choice to experience separation, Deep within you feel yourselves to be unlovable and you expend enormous amounts of energy seeking love from someone else out there, where you will not find it, because there is no out there. Once again, therefore, I would remind you to take time out daily to go within, to the depths of your beingness, and uncover or disclose the love that is there awaiting your acceptance of it. You are all infinitely loved in every moment of your eternal existence. The only block to love is your refusal to accept yourselves completely unconditionally as God does. Once you open in acceptance, you will find yourselves releasing your hold on attitudes and behaviors that are in any way unloving. You will find yourselves seeing love or the call for love in others, and you will be powerfully moved to respond to them with love. As you settle into this new way of being, you will find that you have fewer and fewer reasons to reject or judge others, as you recognize within them the pain and suffering that you underwent before you chose to align with your true nature. Be love, offer love, and open yourselves to receive the love that is your divine heritage. With so very much love, Saul. Channeled by John Smallman. johnsmallman.wordpress.com